Example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama is super wealthy. I think he's the wealthiest person in Tibet with his palace and 13-story building, Potala. He owned Norbalinga. He had everything. But when he lost it, I've never heard him being depressed. I lost everything. I've never heard him throw a BF or wanting to give up or want to disrobe and go work. Can you imagine Dalai Lama? I lost my palace, I lost my servants, I lost Norbalinka, I lost my statues, I lost everything. I mean, you've heard Tsem Rinpoche throw a BF about that. I lost a teeny little center with a few statues in my underwear and I throw a BF. I mean, the Dalai Lama, he lost everything, including his status, including respect, including his country, land. I mean, everything. What we cannot imagine losing, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has lost. But you don't hear him saying, oh dear, I did the puja to Mahakala before I left and didn't work. Maybe Mahakala is not right. I think I'll turn to another religion. I don't hear the Dalai Lama saying, hey, I'm going to give up my protector practice and I'm going to go and do something else. Or I'm going to disrobe and go work. Because it's not happening. Look, I've done so much in Tibet, and I'm and I've done all these pujas, but I lost everything. I don't hear Dalai Lama saying that. I don't hear the Dalai Lama saying, "Hey, I got sick. What's with the pujas?" The Kala Chakra was canceled a few years back in Bodh Gaya. Like 100, 200,000 people showed up. He was very upset because Dashi and Andy gave me a beautiful video on the Kala Chakra and His Holiness in Bodh Gaya. And he had to cancel because he was extremely sick. Very, very sick. So all these people are like, okay. And in his stead, His Holiness Ganden Chirimji gave teachings to the whole crowd, But anyways, His Holiness was feeling very bad. And I didn't hear him saying, slap to the monk saying, what happened to the medicine Buddha puja? Why didn't it work? And I'm not going to do this puja anymore. I'm not giving you money anymore. You don't hear him saying that. And we've lost money. I've lost a lot of money. I've been gypped and cheated many times by many people because I'm quite stupid in business. And you hear me bitch and complain and get depressed and say, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore, and hit the table. His Holiness has lost billions. The gold that's there, it's billions of dollars. Because some of these aristocrats that came out of Tibet, and some of these lamas that came out of Tibet have powerful lajangs. And they have millions of dollars. Can you imagine His Holiness? And it's gathered over 14 lifetimes. I imagine if you have 14 lifetimes of wealth. That's pretty neat. Everybody in this room is one lifetime or 2 or 3 generations. But the Dalai Lama is 14 generations. I think he's more richer than Imelda Marcos. Much more. So what's my point? When he lost all that wealth, you didn't hear him saying, oh, now what puja should I do? What should I do? Zambala? What wealth should I get? Money. And then Dalai Lama has brothers and sister and his mother that he loves. If you read his story, and they suffer tremendously, and he saw his brothers suffer. He saw his sister suffer. He saw his parents suffer. He saw his mother lose her homeland and had to walk across and live in a foreign land. He saw, and he couldn't do anything, and he suffered. But you don't see him saying, okay, I'm going to stop praying to Avalokiteshvara and stop my Mahakala pujas, and I'm going to not do this anymore because my parents are suffering. And then you see Dalai Lama in Thailand with the bomo. And then next day he shows up, he's gotten rid of his Buddha pendant, out into the river, and he's wearing some big chakra from Thailand, which is nothing wrong, but you don't see that. You don't see His Holiness saying, hey, they killed 1.2 million people, some of my relatives, and he's on Prozac because he's so depressed. With us, one little thing go wrong with one of our relatives, our girlfriend, our friend, we lose them, they go away, they die, or we can't have this. We go into major depression, and we call everybody up, and we complain, and we cry. But His Holiness has lost 1.2 million of his own people, and his relatives, and his friends, and close compatriots and workers. Do you see him throwing a BF? I've never heard him complain. In secret or in private. And being such a public person, His Holiness, he's got to slip sometime if he's putting up an act. I've slipped many times. I've been caught. So I don't mind. And so what happens is when they took his palace away, when the guards moved into the palace, removed the statues, and you see it being carted over to Hong Kong, being melted down, and all these statues being destroyed, and all the brocade, and all his wealth, and all the vases, and all the collection of gifts and stuff, and the Ming emperors and all that was carted away and taken away, and all his house was taken away, and His Holiness even couldn't wear his robes. He had to just wear a chuba, not even a brocade chuba, a man's coat, but just an ordinary chuba and sling on a rifle to deceive, pretend he was one of the guards, and then jump on a horse, and not a palanquin. I mean, he could have threw a bitch fit. I'm not going to India unless I have a palanquin. I'm not going. He said, okay, whatever. And he left. So these days, These days, if we're not driving around in a Mercedes and we've been downgraded to a Proton, major depression, major tears, a lot of crying. Why is that? Because we haven't let our mind get used to the truth that doesn't make us happy. We're not bad people. Our mind is not accustomed to the truth. His Holiness has lost so much. And in reputation, in Tibet, there was not one person who will say one negative thing about His Holiness, not one single person. He is a God. I've never, even when I was a child, when I was growing up, I have tremendous devotion to Him, naturally. I never thought even one negative thing. When I met Him the first time, I really thought I met, I still do, Avalokiteshvara. That's why I believed in my heart, to this day. I refuse to listen. We have to have some beliefs. So what happens is, but when you go on the internet and you check out the websites and you check out different videos and the comments they read about His Holiness, the comments, for me, who's a shocking person that shocks people, that enjoys shock and being shocked and shocking others, I was shocked. I was really shocked. I said, oh my God, things that you didn't even conceive of, they can think of, they wrote about His Holiness. And I go, okay, there goes his reputation, there goes his face. His Holiness loses a lot of face. But I didn't hear His Holiness saying, I give up. I quit because you made me lose face. In meetings, when people point to Him, and they do that. Like scientists and all that stuff, he has interfaith meetings, they say, you're wrong, I don't agree with that. His Holiness doesn't say, but I'm the pontiff of the Buddhist religion. You can't say that to me. You can't make me lose face. His Holiness doesn't go into meetings saying, I'm going to keep my face, I'm going to keep my face, I'm going to keep my face. And if I lose, I walk out, or I quit, or I'm ready for a resignation. He doesn't say that. Why doesn't he say that? Because His Holiness has applied the teachings. I don't know if he's Avalokiteshvara or he's had 14 lifetimes. I can't see, but I'm going to believe that because that's what everybody says. Everybody can't be wrong in our country. All the high lamas can't be wrong. So definitely I'm going to say, yeah, he is. Because I can't use logic for that. So I'm going to have, sometimes you have to go on faith with some things. So in that case, but in the sense of him not getting depressed, of him not giving up, of him not being discouraged, of him not worried about losing wealth, of him not losing position, of him not losing his face, I can definitely see His Holiness is practicing Dharma. With respect, I say that. I can definitely see that. So therefore, when we look at that example, we should apply it to ourselves. If my beautiful, fabulous sports car gets taken away, would I suffer? My answer is yes. How long? Very short. Last time will be very long. But I'm going to be very honest. I will suffer. Never mind being taken away. If someone scratches it, I suffer a lot. Oh yes, I suffer. But now, a lot less. I'll recover very fast. So do I suffer? Yes. Last time when I checked my bank account and if it's small, do I suffer? Yes, tremendously. And in fact, it threw me into depression and worry, and I don't want to do more. And sometimes I thought, I want to go do something else. Oh, Dharma's not worth it. I even just said it. Dharma's not worth it. For those of us who have enlightened view of their teacher, they'll say, that's Rinpoche manifesting something for us to think deeper. For people who don't think that, they'll think, there he is, we found him. Whatever you want to think, it's okay. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because then I'll lose face. Oops. So what happens is, for me, last time if I have this amount, I get depressed and unhappy. I say, I work so hard. No one cares about me. No one cares about my ladrang. No one cares about my expenses. And all of you can go make money. All of you ask me pujas for money and mantras for money. Why don't you give me money? Why don't I get a percentage when you make it? I mean, all these kind of evil thoughts will happen in the past. Now I don't think like that. Now I look at the amount and there's kind of like a habitual fear. But when I go further, I go, I've lived this long without it. Okay. I'm all right. I have more friends now. I have a Dharma center now. I'm healthy now. And I'm doing works that will benefit others, I hope. And I'm very happy about that. Although I don't have money. Really, I don't. My personal funds. And funds that I have otherwise, I dare not use. I don't care what anybody says to me, I will never use. Because no one has the commitment that have been ingrained in me from the monastery. Our monastic code is very strong. I will not disrobe. You cannot manipulate funds, ever. I will never do things like that because my monastic code is very, very ingrained in me. And I'm proud of it. That's something I don't want to change. And it won't change. And another thing is this is, if I have to move house, last time I've been living in, crappy little dangerous, apartments that don't have water, the lift doesn't work, and all kinds of weird situations. It's been up and down, up and down. Most of the time I've been in crappy places my whole life. Very, very crappy, except the Dharma sensors. And now I'm in a nice place. I live somewhere in Bandar Utama, like, wow. But actually, if you really gauge Tsem Rinpoche compared to other lamas of my age, I really don't have much. Not much. If you gauge other lamas, if you know many lamas, like the lamas in Taiwan, the lamas in America, if you read Chögyam Trungpa's story, I really don't have much at my age for how much Dharma I put in. I don't have much. I don't have financial freedom. I don't have a traveling account. Nothing. I'm still struggling with money. So my point is but that doesn't make me depressed anymore. It hasn't for a while, a few years now. Because I found something of more higher value. I'm not going to go into a big song and dance about what it is. And what happens is that now I have a reputation, I'm a Rinpoche. Actually, by right, if you're a Rinpoche, if you're recognized by the abbot and the monastery, you must be who you are, or else all of those people who recognize you are wrong. You must be who you are. And if you are who you are, and you've had many incarnations of evolution, spiritual evolution, then that means spiritually what you say, sometimes what you know will benefit people. And if they don't do it, they lose out because of your evolution. So therefore, if you contradict a Rinpoche, if you don't do what they say and something goes wrong, it's understood because you've countered their evolution of seeing and fast-forwarding for you. You've countered their evolution and their fast-forwarding abilities for you. So if you're suffering and they give you advice that seemingly makes you suffer more, if you believe that your Lama or a Rinpoche is there to make you suffer, then you will go along your own plan. But if a Rinpoche is giving you a plan that seemingly looks like it's suffering, if you believe his nature is to make you suffer, then you don't follow. If you believe his nature is to make you not suffer, then you follow. Hence, I'm here teaching because I said before I don't like teaching, and it's because I don't have confidence in myself. I don't think I'm a great teacher at all. But I choose to forget that and listen to what my Lama says instead. And that's been very hard for me because I went through a lot. Because of teaching, I went through so much problems and difficulties. But if I see my Lama, I'm definitely not going to throw a BF and say it's your fault. I would like to, but I dare not. I have that. My ego is not that big.